Okay, Sayaka, I got to tell you, I'm convinced now that you and I are in alternate realities, and that's what's keeping me and you from getting together. That is the reason. And here's my absolute proof today. Me and my wife, we've been going to Montgomery Mall to walk there for exercise. Okay, we walk like a half hour in there, and I've sent you many a video where I'm talking along as I walk. Okay, so I've been going there every couple of days. Okay, so I'm very familiar with everything in that mall. Okay, I also worked in that mall for a couple of years when I was in college, and I've lived in this area my whole life, and I've been going to that mall since it was built there in the late 1960s. So here's what happened today. I'm walking, and today I was getting barraged by this microwave weapon, so I could hardly walk. It wasn't because of nausea, it was because of like pain in my hips from those pinched nerves and my shoulders, my neck. I felt like I was a 95-year-old man 1,000 years ago. Somebody lived to 95 1,000 years ago, right? I was just ripped. Okay, I could hardly walk. And I'm walking through the mall. And what do I see? Suddenly a store is there that has not been there. It's never been there. It just appeared overnight. They don't do things that way at the mall. Okay? They don't do a store doesn't appear overnight. It doesn't happen that way there. So here's this store. And I stopped in front of it. You know what it was? A Native American store. Okay? You know what the Native Americans are, right? Okay, so I said, hey. I stopped. I said, look at this. I've never seen this here before, ever. And I went in. And I bought a Christmas present for Sephora in there because she wasn't walking with me. She walked when she got up this morning, said she was in the cafeteria. And I was walking by myself. So I buy this present for her. I'd show it to you, but she might see it in this video, so I don't want to do that. So I buy this beautiful American, Native American, like hoodie, real cozy and warm. It's beautiful, you know. It was $80, marked down to 40. I saw it. I grabbed it. I said, I want this. And the man, you know, I was in there only a few seconds, and I said, but this is a large. Do you have a medium? So he went looking all over, and he says, oh, no, I don't have one. And then he was like passing in front of the register. He said, hey, here's one here. One just appeared. Here's a medium, so I bought that. And, you know, this guy, he's an Inca Indian from South America. Okay, and this store was not there yesterday. So this is an alternate reality I've entered, where the store is there. Now, I could go on, but let me just stop there. Listen, I'm going to say this, okay? 100%. 100%. There is no doubt in my mind, okay? This store did not appear overnight there. It simply did not. So I was saying to you, I think what must be keeping us apart is that we're in alternate realities. Okay, and if you ever came to the door of my house, you might have knocked and everything. And even if we were there, since you were in an alternate reality from us, We wouldn't have been there in your reality, but we were there. So this kind of thing is keeping us apart. Now, one night when you were making those drive-bys by our house, if you were, because I'm not sure it was you, I could not see inside the cars coming by. And I don't think you were the only one doing those drive-bys. I think the bad guys were trying to confuse me. They started up this newspaper woman to come down the same time you were coming down. So it did get confusing. But one night, between 3 and 4 a.m., I had my guitar on the, what do you call that? The part of the back of the truck that uh, pulls down, okay, so you can load up the bed of the truck there. What's that called? The tail of the truck. That was down, and my guitar was up there, sitting on that, and a packed bag. One of those 50-pound bags. A packed bag was there with that guitar. Or maybe it was a 22-pound bag. I don't remember. And they were sitting right there. Now, the car was there with the back of the car facing the direction you would have been driving toward our house. I'm trying to think. Is that from the south to the north? Yeah, south to north. And across the street, I had parked our Jeep Grand Cherokee to make like a little passage for you to go through to try to make sure you saw me. Okay? And I was sitting in that Jeep Grand Cherokee, right? You know, because look, I've been looking for you for years now. Okay? It's tiring. I don't know you're going to come, and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. I got to be comfortable, right? I can't be, right out like this is something I've done once in a blue moon. I've been in this battle for my entire life. So it's exhausting, okay? Now, so I was seated in the Jeep Grand Cherokee. I'd made this little passage for you to go through to make sure you noticed how odd things were there. There's the truck in a place it never was. There's the guitar on the back with a packed bag right there next to it. And then you're going to go through this little passage between our two vehicles, which are parked as they never are, out in front of the house. And I'm sitting in the Jeep Grand Cherokee. Well, it looks like you when you're going by, but it could have been any woman who kind of was your build and so on. Didn't have to be you, but I think it was you. And you looked toward me in the Jeep, but I don't think you saw me. I think you looked toward me, and I was thinking, oh, she sees me, but I don't think you saw me. I think you saw an empty Jeep over there, or you saw nothing, maybe. Maybe you didn't see any Jeep at all. So, I'm saying we are in alternate realities. We are. Now, the fact that I just came into this indigenous Native American, it's not an American, this was an Inca Indian, he told me, from South America. I go into his store. That tells me things are changing. I've entered at least a new reality from the one I was in. So that could mean we're getting closer to each other. This is a very tough challenge for us to be facing. Okay, and there's all kinds of challenges. Listen, I'm not giving up. And I'm not going to be running off to some other woman. I'm not in this for that, okay? I'm not in this for that. I figure you are the one for me. And I'm not giving up trying to get to you. I am not. So, we're in alternate realities. Just keep that in mind. And somehow, We got to get ourselves into the same reality so we can meet. How we're going to do that, I just don't know. But whatever we're doing, I think it's slowly having that effect that we're getting closer and closer, and we're gonna succeed at this.